Friends, your success brings happiness and peace to your home. Always smiling, being happy, and staying healthy give you the best joys in life and make you the happiest person in the world. The story I'm going to tell you today contains the knowledge of the whole world and solutions to all problems. So, please watch this story till the end. Long ago, in a small town, there lived a very wealthy merchant. This wealthy merchant had everything one could desire. There was no shortage of anything in his life. He had achieved great success in his life, and he had many accomplishments to his name. He used to go to the nearby town for business as well, and he was sure to find success there too. He never faced defeat in his life. His business was booming, and he followed for important principles that his father had taught him. He diligently adhered to these principles, which made his life very prosperous. He was successful in every aspect of life. As time passed, the wealthy merchant grew older. He started to feel that his death was approaching. He knew that his son was very innocent and simple-hearted. He's very naive. He doesn't understand the ways of the world yet. That's why he called his son to him and said, "Son, I learned four things from my father, and I have followed those principles throughout my life. Thanks to following those principles, I am so successful in my life today, living a happy and prosperous life. It's because of those principles that I am so content and wealthy today. I have never suffered from any illness, nor have I ever faced a shortage of wealth. You can see that I am the wealthiest person in this city. But today, I am content with whatever I have. I am happy, but I want you to excel even further. Earn more, gain more wealth, let people know you, make a name for yourself. Because our times were different, and your upcoming time is entirely different." That wealthy man called his son closer and started telling him, "Son, today I'm going to tell you four important principles of life that my father shared with me. And it's because of these principles that I have achieved so much success today. If you incorporate these principles into your life, follow them regularly, and abide by them, you will also lead a very prosperous life. Your life will be filled with happiness, and neither your family nor your business will face any troubles by following these principles." Having said this, the wealthy man began to impart four essential principles to his son. He said, "Son, the first thing is to go to work in the shade and return in the shade. The second thing is to have a wall of leather around your home. The third thing is to always make the food sweet before eating. And the fourth thing is to always keep your wife tied up." Having said this, the wealthy man was now at ease. He knew that his son was very innocent. He would surely follow his father's words and incorporate these four principles into his life, following them diligently. Several months passed, and one day, the wealthy man died. After his father's passing, the wealthy man's son wrote down these four principles on a piece of paper to ensure he wouldn't forget them. He started implementing these principles into his life, following them sincerely. The first thing his father had told him was to go into the shade and come back into the shade. So, he set up a tent from his home to his shop along the entire path because he had plenty of money, and there was no one to stop him. Whenever someone asked him why he did this, he simply said, "My father advised me to do so." After this, he followed his father's next piece of advice. He erected a leather wall on both sides of his house. When the people around him saw this, they became very angry. They confronted him and asked, "Why did you do this? Why did you put up a leather wall? It emits a foul odor, and it's causing us discomfort. Remove it immediately." He had so much money that no one could disrupt his plans. People couldn't oppose him for long because of his wealth, and he was determined to follow his father's advice wholeheartedly. His father's third piece of advice was about making meals sweet. He used to include something sweet in every meal he shared with his wife, whether it was fruit, pudding, or dessert. He always followed this advice, and his father had told him the fourth thing, to always keep his wife tied up, which is why he used to tie his wife with a rope every day. However, as he continued to follow his father's advice literally, his life began to deteriorate slowly. His successful business started to decline because he misunderstood his father's advice and followed it in the wrong way. Over time, the number of customers at his store decreased because he opened and closed his shop whenever he pleased, without consistency. Keeping his wife tied up all the time, as per his father's advice, led to his marriage deteriorating. He misinterpreted his father's instructions, causing problems in his relationship. Furthermore, his once thriving business began to decline rapidly. His unpredictable opening and closing of the shop based on his mood led to a drop in the number of customers. He wasn't dedicated to his father's business, and as a result, all of his customers began to get angry with him. One by one, all his customers were leaving the shop. Because of this, his entire business had come to a halt, which his father had worked tirelessly to establish. He had completely ruined the business within just a few months. Now his business had significantly declined, which made him very distressed. He was constantly worried, and as a result, he had constructed a wall of leather around his house. Due to this, a foul odor had spread all around. Consequently, everyone who used to live around him left their homes and found another place to live. Because of the strong smell of the leather, no one visited his house anymore. Not even his friends and relatives hesitated to enter. But he still couldn't understand why all this was happening. He became very distressed and continued to indulge in sweet food, which had caused his weight to increase significantly. Due to this obesity, numerous diseases had taken residence in his body. Every day, there were quarrels and disputes in his house. Due to all these reasons, his money was also getting wasted in these matters, and he had followed his father's fourth piece of advice. He used to tie up his wife, which made his wife angry, and she left home to go to her parents' house. He tried various ways to persuade his wife, but she didn't agree. After all, why would any woman want to stay with a man who unreasonably restrains her? Over time, the entire life of the merchant's son had been ruined. He no longer had any business left, nor wealth, his wife, or even the relatives who used to hang around him for money. Furthermore, his health was not good either, which made him very worried and distressed. He was extremely troubled by all these things, unable to understand what was happening and why. He would silently blame his father for all these matters. "Father, you have ruined my entire life. Because of those four things you told me, today I have lost everything. Neither do I have a business nor wealth, no relatives, no wife, even my health has abandoned me. It's all because of you that my entire life is in ruins. Like an obedient son, I believed all your words, trusted them, and followed them faithfully. But I was a fool to blindly trust your words," he said. With that, he burst into tears. It was then that he learned about a guru who had come to the nearby town, known for solving Gevrion's problems. No matter how complex the issue, he had a solution for it. Upon hearing this, he thought, "Let me meet Himans. Perhaps I can find a solution to my problems as well." With this hope, he reached the guru's home. There, he fell at the guru's feet and began crying loudly. He said, "Gurudev, only you can save me now. My father has ruined my entire life. My current situation is all because of him. I did exactly as he told me. Always, like a good son, I followed all their instructions, fulfilled all my responsibilities, and look at what my father did to me, even after his death. He taught me wrong things, and now I'm paying the price because I incorporated all his teachings into my life, followed them, and see what has become of me today. My entire life has been ruined. I still can't understand why my father did this to me. Did I do something wrong to him?" With these words, he continued to cry loudly in front of the holy men. Then the holy sage said to the son of the merchant, "Son, calm down first and tell me everything. What exactly happened to you? Why are you crying like this? What is the cause of your distress?" The son of the merchant then handed over a letter to the holy man, which he had written after his father's death. In this letter, he had written down the four things his father had told him. The holy man took the letter, started reading it. And as soon as he read it, he burst into laughter. He said to the merchant's son, "How foolish you are! Your father imparted all the wisdom of the world to you, but you couldn't comprehend it? You couldn't follow his guidance correctly, and you claim that your father showed you the wrong path. Your father was testing whether you could understand his words or not. If they had wanted to, they could have explained the meaning to you clearly, but they wanted you to figure out the meaning for yourself, to understand the significance on your own. But now, it seems as if your intelligence is completely corrupted. I have never seen a bigger fool than you, someone who possesses such vast knowledge of the world. How can they exhibit such profound foolishness? You have no knowledge, you haven't acquired any knowledge at all. If you had understood the true meaning of these things, you would have been as successful and happy in your life as your father. But you are such a big fool that you misinterpreted your father's words. You didn't even think about the meaning of those words. You started doing exactly as he said. If you didn't understand the meaning of those words, you could have met a wise person for clarification. You would have understood the meaning of those words from him. But the way you have interpreted your father's words is not correct." On this, the wealthy merchant's son says, "O Guru, what are you trying to say? Am I not understanding my father's words correctly? And is it not worth understanding them?" He explained everything clearly and implemented them in my life in the same way. So, what did I do wrong? Upon hearing this, the Guru smiled again and said to the merchant's son, "Son, there is a deep meaning behind these words that you couldn't comprehend. That's why you misunderstood it, and that's why you ruined your entire life. But even now, it's not too late. If you wish, you can work hard from now on and once again attain happiness and prosperity in your life." On this, the merchant's son says, "All right. Please explain the meaning of those four things to me. What is the meaning of those four things after all?" In response, the Guru tells the merchant's son, "Your father advised you to go to work when there is shade and return when there is shade. This means that you should arrive at your shop before the sun rises and leave after the sun has set. This way, you will have more time at the shop. You will better understand the work, perform it effectively, and make progress. However, you misunderstood it and set up a tent from your home to the shop, so that you can come in the shade and go in the shade. Now, tell me, did you understand the correct meaning of your father's words?" Hearing this, the merchant's son started crying loudly and said, "Oh, Guruji, it was my own mistake. I misunderstood my father's words, and that's why I am completely ruined today. I was the biggest fool. My father had given Messick valuable knowledge, but I considered that gum as a mere stone." The merchant's son then asked the Guru about the second piece of advice and its meaning. Further explaining the second piece of advice, the Guru says, "Making leather wall, its meaning is that when you keep a dog or a cat in your home, they will protect your home from all sides. This will keep your wealth completely safe, and you can focus on your shop without worries. By being carefree, you will understand the work in your shop and make progress. Moreover, you will never have the fear in your mind that someone might come and steal my property. The real meaning of making leather wall is this, but you interpreted it completely differently. You completely misunderstood the advice about making leather wall." The Guru continues to explain the third piece of advice, making the food sweet. Its meaning is that you should treat your guests and customers warmly and kindly. By being hospitable and serving them well, you will create a friendly and welcoming atmosphere in your shop. This will attract more customers, and your business will prosper. However, you interpreted it differently by actually trying to make your food taste sweet, which led to the downfall of your business. So yes, you misunderstood this piece of advice as well. Making the food sweet doesn't mean adding sugar or sweeteners to your meals. It signifies eating your meals promptly when you'll feel hungry, neither before nor after that. Otherwise, if you eat when you are not hungry, and food is readily available, you won't appreciate its value. No matter how delicious the food may be, you won't truly enjoy it. So, by overeating and not following the right timing for meals, you've also misunderstood this aspect of your father's advice, leading to health problems and excessive weight gain. You won't be able to appreciate its value. But when a person is extremely hungry, even if you offer them dry bread, it's no less than a feast for them. They eat it with love, respect it, and find even dry bread sweet in such a situation. That's why your father said to make the meal sweet, which means eating when you're hungry. Eating at the right time is like nectar for the body. When someone is hungry and eats at that time, it's like an elixir for them. On the other hand, if someone eats when they're not hungry, it can be very harmful. But you misunderstood this aspect too, and started eating sweets every day, which led to weight gain and health problems. And for this reason, many diseases had made their home in your body, and it was bringing you close to death. Therefore, from today, whenever you feel extremely hungry, only then should you eat. This will be highly beneficial for you. Keep your body healthy. And eating when you're not hungry, on the other hand, can be very harmful. This was your third mistake, the reason your entire life was getting ruined. The son of the merchant ahead says, the fourth point is absolutely clear. Keeping one's wife always tied up has a different meaning too. Did I also derive a wrong meaning from it? Guru say about this, yes, son, keeping your wife tied up doesn't mean you should tie her up with a rope every day. Instead, it means that whenever there is any disagreement or argument between the two of you, don't raise your hand against your wife. As long as a woman's husband is bound in a relationship with her, she becomes deeply committed to her relationships and makes every possible effort to fulfill them completely. And at such times, if there are any disagreements or mistakes between you, and if you do not let go of that woman, she will never leave you. However, this also does not mean that you should abuse your wife. Instead, what your elders were trying to convey here is that anyone who is connected to you in any relationship should be treated with respect and kindness. Bind her in such a way within your relationship that she cannot harm you even after disagreements and disputes. She should not be able to do anything wrong to you or take advantage of you. Always keep your relationships tied. Do not leave them open. Otherwise, they will slip away from your hands. Most of us make these mistakes in our lives and never give time to our new relationships, which is why their bond does not become strong. This is the reason why they eventually wash their hands of the relationship. You made the same mistake by keeping your wife tied up. So, how could she forgive you? That's why she left you for what you did to her. What you did with your wife is unforgivable. But you should apologize to your wife because you were wrong. So go ahead and apologize to your wife. Bring her back home. And these were the 4 things your father tried to explain to you. But you misunderstood all these things, and that's why you ended up completely ruined. However, you still have a lot of time. If you follow all these things correctly, you can regain everything you've lost in your life. These are the solutions to all the problems in our lives. You can see them in any way. If you want to be successful, you will have to work hard. You must leave your home before the sun rises, and always return home after the sun has set so that no one can steal your wealth from you. You must bind your relationships in such a way that they do not trouble you. Don't let trouble reach you. Don't let anyone take advantage of you. And always eat a good and healthy meal when you're hungry, so that you can happily cherish every breath you have. And always keep your relationships tied. Do not leave them open, otherwise they may slip through your hands. And, of course, keep a dog or a cat in your house to ensure the security of your wealth. After following all these things in his life, he could once again attain everything he had lost until now, and he could achieve even greater progress and prosperity. He could make his life happy and fulfilling. After saying this, the sage became calm, and the merchant's son had also understood all his mistakes. He paid his respects to the guru and returned home. The merchant's son, enlightened by the guru's wisdom, returned home with a newfound understanding of his father's teachings. He was determined to rectify his past mistakes and follow the true meaning of the 4 principles his father had imparted to him. First, he changed his work habits. He started arriving at his shop before sunrise and left only after the sun had set. His dedication to his business increased, and he soon began to attract more customers. His shop once again thrived, and his financial troubles started to fade away. Next, he mended his relationships, not by restraining people, but by treating them with respect and kindness. He realized the importance of nurturing connections and building strong bonds with others. His family life improved, and he reconciled with his wife, who returned home. He also adopted a healthier lifestyle by eating when he was truly hungry, ensuring he maintained good health and proper weight. His health issues gradually subsided, and he felt more energetic and alive. Lastly, he understood that keeping a dog or cat in his house symbolized safeguarding his wealth and property. He took measures to secure his assets and investments wisely, ensuring his financial stability. As the merchant's son implemented these lessons into his life, he began to see significant positive changes. His business flourished, his relationships prospered, and his health improved. He was content and lived a life filled with happiness and prosperity. I hope you enjoyed this story and have learned something from it. You can share your thoughts about the story in the comment box below. Before you go, please like the video and be sure to subscribe to the channel.